Hi, I'm William Dolan, and this is Esquire Advice, where we explain complicated and lucrative real estate and business topics. Remember, we are not forming a lawyer-client relationship by way of this channel. Always consult your local attorney before taking any action. With that said, grab a pencil and a piece of paper and get ready to learn. Welcome everyone to our episode on the state of real estate investing in the midst of COVID-19. Before we get started, a few administrative notes as always. First, please kindly hit those like and subscribe buttons so we can keep bringing you valuable and profitable content. Second, and more importantly on a day like today, this is a time for us all to have a great deal of compassion and empathy for the many people who have fallen ill to this virus and their family members too. We got a lot of people out there that are in high-risk categories and highly vulnerable to this virus. Those that are already experiencing significant financial distress, and probably many, many more who are going to have the same experience. So we should never lose sight of these difficulties, no matter where this conversation or our day-to-day activities take us. All right, so having said that, many of you out there currently own rental properties, are in the middle of flip projects, you might be under contract to purchase or sell a property, you're in the middle of negotiating to purchase or sell a property, or wondering if this is a good time to buy or sell. I know this because almost 50% of my practice is representing real estate investors, and I'm getting these questions every day. All right, so let's tackle this top 5 FAQ style. So the first question we're going to answer is, should I be looking for new deals or entering into agreements to purchase properties that I've been negotiating right now? Look, the best advice I can give you is great deals they still should be okay. But the good deals, the okay marginal deals, I would hold off on those. And this is why. So a great deal, let's say you own rental properties, right? And a good deal is $500 a month in cash flow, and a great deal is $750 to $1,000 a month in cash flow. If you can get a property right now that's going to give you that $750 to $1,000 a month in cash flow, that's still a good deal for you. Now, don't get me wrong, a year and a half from now, the value of that property that you purchase now could be lower than it is at the time you purchase it, right? But if you're in a long-term buy and hold strategy, eventually that value is going to rebound and it will exceed your purchase price. And you're still going to get the benefit of that $750 to $1,000 a month in cash flow in the meantime. So that's still a good deal for you, right? If you buy flips and a good flip deal for you is maybe making a profit of $50,000 or less, but grade is up in the $75,000 to $100,000 range, and you can still get your hands on one of those $75,000 to $100,000 flips, hey, close, buy by all means. Even if by the time you purchase, renovate, and sell that thing, values have come down, maybe your profit comes down from 75 to 100 to 25 to 50, but it really shouldn't go below zero, right? You still should make money on that deal. But the marginal deals, the okay deals, that might not be the case. If you're going to make a projected $25,000 in profit for a marginal deal, you could be losing money by the time you close. So I wouldn't chase those down. And look, we've got some pretty significant pragmatic limitations right now. There's real estate closings. There's a lot of person-to-person contact on these deals. So I don't care if it's when you're first trying to hire a real estate agent to go visit a property, to having an appraiser or home inspector go out to the property, to attending a loan closing, or the purchase or sale closing. Look, there's a lot of person-to-person contact, and every one of those touch points right now are barriers or obstacles to closing. So that's going to put a drag on real estate sales, and that's going to ultimately affect the prices. And then we have just the general economic situation that this virus is going to have a significant impact on the economy. Many experts are estimating we're going to go from our 3.5% or so unemployment rate up to 10%, 15%. There's been some talk about it maybe going to 20%. I mean, let's hope we don't see that. But even if it goes up to 10 or 15%, that is still going to have an impact on the value of real estate in most areas of the country, if not everywhere. So those are pretty good reasons to stay away from those okay or marginal deals right now. All right, so our second question is, I am under contract to buy or sell right now. Should I close? Well, look, let's remember, once you're under contract, you have obligations. You can't just unilaterally wake up one day and say, I'm not going to do that anymore. If that were the case, then these agreements wouldn't really mean very much, would they? So you really don't have a choice. Now, if you're on the buy side, you may want to try to renegotiate with your seller. So I'm talking about maybe getting an extension to close. Maybe it's getting some additional concessions from the seller in terms of price or assist. Maybe you're even trying to get the seller to agree to terminate the deal. And maybe you're even willing to throw a couple of dollars at the seller to try to get the seller to agree to that. So if you can negotiate some new points, more power to you. You should be trying to do that, but you don't just have the unilateral right to say, I'm not going to close. All right, so our next question is, I'm in the middle of a flip right now. What should I do? Here again, this is tough because you're already in the middle of the deal. You already own the property. Presumably, you've already hired some contractors. They're already doing work. And everyone knows, as a real estate investor, you have got to hold your contractors' feet to the fire on a general, business, from a general business perspective. But it's a little trickier right now, right? Because some states are on lockdown. Some have no restrictions, and some are in all different places in between. So you're really going to need to figure out, and I think probably your local attorney is the best person to reach out to figure out what are your contractors allowed to do, because you really don't want to try to pressure contractors into doing things that are either inappropriate and might make this pandemic worse, or worse, asking them to do something that's flat out illegal. But at the same time, you can't just give them a free pass and just have no accountability at all, because we know how that goes, right? All right, so the next question is, I am a real estate investor that owns rental properties, and I'm hearing that I might not be able to evict, or I might have to waive rent. Is that true? All right, so this is going to vary significantly depending on where you are in the country. Some areas there have not been any changes. Some areas there have been some eviction and foreclosure moratoriums, which means you can't do those right now, but you really need to talk to your local attorney and get into the weeds here. Because I've seen in some areas, courts are allowing landlords to file eviction proceedings to start those and even get through the entire process to obtain an eviction order. But they're just saying, look, we're not going to send the sheriff out to physically evict them, to take them out of the property. We've got a 90-day moratorium on that, and that might get extended. But this varies significantly depending on where you are in the country, so you need to reach out to your local attorney and figure out what what your obligations are, your rights are right now, and you need to make sure you're getting an update on that. So it's not just a one-time question. The answer could be different tomorrow, next week, the week after. So I would also ask your attorney, look, is there some kind of mailing list, or should I check in with you every so often? What's the process you're going to have right now to try and stay on top of this? All right, so what should you be doing right now, right? I think this is a really important question. And I think you should focus on putting a success plan in place. Look, there's a lot of administrative stuff I know real estate investors put off. Their processes, their procedures, their letters. Legal items are another area. Corporate structuring, I know, is an area where investors, they think about this and ponder it for months or years before they set up their LLCs, they transfer properties into them, they decide whether they're going to use holding company structure, series LLCs, estate planning trust, or land trust. All those different things, figuring out what is your strategy going to be, and go ahead and implement it now. This is the time to do it, because you really don't have the work to do in terms of finding the properties and working on those right now to the same extent as you normally would. Tax and accounting is another area. Look, no one really likes that. I don't even really like that, and I'm a lawyer, right? But this is the time, get all that in order. If you're thinking about changing bookkeepers or changing from Excel to QuickBooks, you really want to button up your tax and accounting processes, this is the time to do it. And of course, setting your business goals. Look, 12 months, 18 months, 24 months from now, there are going to be a lot of real estate opportunities. Unfortunately, the distress that this event causes is going to create a lot of investment property opportunities, for better or worse, right? It's going to happen. And you need to put together a plan. What is your marketing plan? How are you going to find those properties? How many properties do you want to acquire? Do you want to do buy and holds, flips? And a financial plan. You may be affected financially by this outbreak as well. What is your financial plan? How are you going to carry out this marketing plan and achieve these numbers? Maybe you should develop a relationship with a private lender. Maybe develop a better relationship with your existing conventional lender. Maybe you're going to reach out to family members and try and get some of them to invest with you. Maybe you're going to go out and look for other real estate investor partners. But this is the time to do the networking, to do the groundwork so that you've got the financial resources that when these properties become available, you're ready to move on them. All right, so those are the 5 FAQs we're getting most right now. And look, if you're interested in more real estate and business topics, we have episodes on many other topics, so check them out. And again, kindly hit those like and subscribe buttons so we can continue to bring you more great content. Hit the notification bell for YouTube to let you know when we've released new episodes. Thanks for watching. Stay safe and healthy. Practice social distancing, and I'll see you next time.